We are live, Joe.
All right. Welcome, guys. This is episode 22 of Tech Trends. Um, Once again, we have AMD in the news because, last week we are talking about how AMD is having all these tech presses, all these releases of information and potential launches. And now we're looking at, uh, you know, basically analysis of what's happened so far.
Yep, definitely.
So, this article from fool.com, there's like two of them. It's called the Motley Fool. There's a few of them I'm already covering today with this. Is showing that AMD, you know, back in 2016, before Ryzen launched, their CPU, their market share, how much they've actually sold CPUs was at a low 18%. So Intel was smashing it, right? They were the kings, and because of Ryzen in 2016 and 17 and 18 and 19, and now in 2020 with this new 5000 series that they just debuted, they're people think that their third party estimates are saying that their market share is 37%.
That's interesting.
And yeah, it's a significant jump. It's twice as much, basically, right?
Yeah, seems like it.
And then with the 5000 series I expect it to go probably to like 45% or something. We'll see. um the argument is that there's other signs too showing that um in Steam survey, that's even increased. um so I think that was, what was it, up to 26. Oh no, that's sorry. I'm looking at different things right now. So yeah, the cool thing about it is we're seeing that Intel is not, um you know their mind share isn't everything,
Mhm.
right? And they were the kings of, they were losing the multi-core performance for a few years to AMD, and they still are, but they still held on to like the high CPU clock times and then also the high IPC for their single threaded. But like we covered last week, the Ryzen 5000 series has dethroned them. The thing is though that uh AMD no Intel might not release a next generation CPU until like competition for until next year.
That's interesting. That's
So
really
for a few months, it looks like AMD will be top.
yeah, it will. I wonder what Intel's gonna do a if I wonder if Intel's gonna do a comeback. What do you think
Well,
about that, Joe?
I've seen some pretty crazy rumors, and I'm not sure what to think about it because it is pretty crazy. The idea, somebody said that like the next generation for Intel might do like 5.4, 5.5 gigahertz. But what happens with that is that's a like really big power draws. It's pretty high,
Yeah,
and that means like you have to have pretty good cooling for that. And so there's a point where how much cooling are you doing to keep that title,
correct.
you know? And then what's the value proposition? Is it better
Yep.
for you just to go for the lower clocked piece and not have to spend more into, better coolers and everything? Because 5.5 gigahertz, that's running pretty hot.
Yeah,
That's why Intel hasn't really gone beyond 5.1 for a lot of consumer parts for a long time.
yeah, definitely. That's true. That
So I'm
is
not
true.
sure if that was just like a complete rumor and nobody's even considering that. Um, but yeah, other than that, there's talk about other ways of doing it with like more cache, like more L2 and more L3 cache and L1 cache. And then of course, increased IPC. And so yeah, I'm not really sure what Intel is planning.
So what is Intel on this new processor that you heard? At what nanometers is it gonna be at?
Well, the thing is, the ones that they're coming out with that they've been talking about recently
Yeah.
they're still gonna be on like it's gonna be their 10 nanometer versus AMD 7. So it looks like we're actually going to finally see Intel's 10, because Intel was basically on 14 forever, and they kept delaying and delaying, saying we're going to see 10, we're going to see 10, and we never did. And so that looks like we're going to see 10, and they're not going to like jump to like 7. They think their
Interesting.
10 is like equivalent to AMD 7.
Wow.
So, you know, um, that remains to be seen what those numbers will be, how fast they go, and whether there, even when you go down from like 14 to 10, there's no guarantee. That's why it took them so long to use their 10. There's
Yeah.
no guarantee that the temperatures will stay low and the clock speeds will go up. They obviously had some problems trying to achieve that. And previous generations going from 28 to 22 or to 14, you don't have that kind of that weight.
Yeah, that's true. So
But
true.
somehow AMD's their partners, because Intel does their own fabrication. Um, AMD and Nvidia go to like
A third,
Samsung and
like a third party.
TSMC. Yeah. So they don't actually do that part, and then just put their architecture into that new node of technology. And so Intel's trying to do a lot of things. And so that's kind of tricky, because like you're a jack of all trades, even more so than like AMD in a sense, you know?
Yeah.
Because AMD used to do that, but then they went to third party.
Well, has there been anything saying that the AMD is going to go lower in a 7, or it's still going to be they're going to stay at a 7?
I think they're staying at 7 for a while. We might see like 5. I think it kind of depends on the competition with Intel, but we might see 5 in 2021.
Interesting.
Yeah, and
Can't wait to see
again,
that.
I wish that they do. I wish they were all like consistent. I wish like 5 meant the same thing to everybody. You know,
Yeah.
like I wish a 5 nanometer wasn't. Um, you weren't like, oh, they're calculating it this way, and someone else can measure a different way, and that's their 5 nanometer. I wish it was all the same and not like, in a sense, it's like, gaming it.
So you're pretty much saying that 14, no, the 10 is AMD's 7. Is that right?
Yeah. 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 I mean, again, I'm not heavy techno literate to see like what the dimensions are and do any of the math of engineering math or anything, but that's basically what people think.
That's interesting. I wonder if it is.
Yeah. So, the next article, I mean, we recap saying that, AMD in their performance, their graphing showed that they are 7% faster compared to Intel.
Mm-hmm.
So, the article was saying that like, AMD is no longer the bargain piece, but AMD was saying that they are still. They're not much, but they're saying that like by 1 or 2 percentage. So they're not giving you like they're not undercutting themselves a lot like they were in the past, but they're giving you 1 or 2% over their competitor,
That's
which
good.
then means which still makes Intel look like the more expensive one. Even if it's 1 or 2 percentage.
Oh man, poor Intel.
Yeah,
I remember when they had the
and
market.
yeah. So the next article is pretty interesting because I'm personally against all these monopolies. Everybody
Definitely.
buying each other out. But AMD looks like Nvidia was talking about buying out ARM. And correct me, do you know what ARM is?
ARM is a processor I know of. I don't know too much about it. I just
Is
know
it
that they go on.
is it a company?
It's a company. Forgot what it's called. There's one here in Austin, Texas, facility. I
Okay.
know they make processors. It's a processor company. I think it's for mobile devices. I just don't know what exactly for what devices. I couldn't
Okay.
tell you. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
Android phones.
Yeah. So, Nvidia was it's in the process of buying up ARM, you know?
Wow.
And it looks like now AMD has been successful enough with Ryzen, Ryzen 1, 2,
Yes.
and now with 3, on the that they're considering buying out someone.
Yeah,
They're
I think they're doing this on purpose so they could actually start building in-house chips and processors. Part of the last topics that we talked about, AMD by hiring somebody from, I think it was ARM or Intel.
with AMD, like I think they did TSMC.
What was that one?
That's just another a fab. They have their own factories.
Oh, yeah, because I remember a few months
They're,
ago.
they call it a semiconductor manufacturing company.
Oh, because I remember
They do the weight.
AIM, I know AMD bought out some company, not company, some guy. Actually, he jumped on board with them because Apple's gonna develop their own processors. And I'm wondering if that is actually happening here with AMD. They're hiring people and bringing them on board
Yeah.
so they could help
Well,
them out, so they could do in-house factories or something.
yeah. And here's and that was the part that I was kind of confused at. The part that maybe somebody else knows more about. Are you that it says they're gonna they're in the market to buy this smaller company called Xilinx, Xilinx, for over $30 billion.
That's a
And
lot of money.
yeah, so it looks like AMD, I mean, AMD wouldn't have thought about doing that several years ago, but they're saying it's similar to when Intel bought um, another company. I'm trying to look for it right now, but they bought another company, and so it's just these bigger companies buying up these smaller companies to try to keep an advantage over the other big companies.
Yeah.
So I guess they're this type of this chip called the FPGA chips. It's called Field Programmable Gate Array, and they were pioneered back in the 1980s, and they call them flexible chips. And Xilinx has 3 billion in annual sales.
Damn.
So you know, this is it's like Intel when Intel bought Altera back in 2015 for 16.7 billion. Um, they're basically I don't know. These FPGAs are cheaper than custom built, and they said they can be used in data centers, industrial equipment, and cars. And I'm not
Yeah.
really sure. They're like I guess they're like more. You can like program them on the fly, which again I'm not into that.
So I think that's what it is. I think, yeah, exactly what, like I was saying, is like AMD is actually trying to get more semiconductors built into the house in house instead of using third party people to actually build. Well, instead of like them sending out parts and then receiving them back, they want to do everything in house. That's what it looks like they're trying to do.
Mhm. And it looks like with this purchase, it looks like Xilinx is more profitable with like profit margin wise compared to AMD. They had
Mhm.
34% profits compared to AMD's 8% of like 7.65 billion. So
Yeah,
if they bought them out, they're looking at it to be that they could get that back in the long run.
yeah, they would definitely.
So just kind of interesting. Scary news for me because with I didn't like when I heard the news that Nvidia was going to buy up ARM, and if I had thought about what that meant back when Intel was buying up what was that company called again, Altera. Yeah, it's just companies getting bigger and bigger, and any new innovations are getting sucked up into these big companies.
Yep, definitely true.
But at the same time, though, then give it a few years of integration, and then we get the next best CPU.
Oh man, I can't wait to see those next CPUs and graphics cards coming into the future, man.
Yeah, I mean, you better see something for a 30 billion return.
Oof, yes. Somebody, if not, somebody's getting fired, bro. Somebody's getting fired in in that developmental team.
Well, our next topic is about the PlayStation 5,
Interesting
and
topic.
the UI has been revealed where it's got, PlayStation 5 they like to show that they're always making big developments with their menus and the features that they provide with each new console.
Definitely.
So, Renee, what are some of these functions that are happening?
Well, reviewing this week's what was that? It was the what? The trophy and the achievements that we talked
Oh
about?
yeah, the console's control center interface.
Correct. And that is
So
gonna be amazing.
yes, very amazing. So like if you played a game and you got to the end of the game and you enjoyed it a lot, but then you look back at your achievements and there's like 5 of them that you didn't get, they have a way with their fast NVMe 4.0, their drives, to be able to bring you back to that point in the game to go figure out how to get that collectible item or that objective, get that award or medal on your account. And so yeah, it's kind of like a shortcut.
But my
And
question is,
if
why do you
you're
want
like
to?
if you're a hoarder, you collect all these achievements, you can go get them all.
But my question is, why do you care about the achievement, man? What's so important? It's not a real medal, not a real achievement. What do you think about that? Because I think you're a gamer, aren't you, Joe?
Yeah. I think um it's just a bunch of like OCD people, right? they're like I can't not have all these achievements. I have to show that I like really was like hardcore with that game. Or I tell you, like, they don't know how to explain it. Like they're a hoarder of all these like technical things. And I think there should be some kind of, I mean, technical hoarding. If it's just in like hard drives and stuff, it's really hard to like call someone a hoarder, I guess, because they can hoard it all up in the cloud. It's not like, unless it becomes like a problem in their life.
That's me.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's me.
so I personally wouldn't be going back. It would drive me a little bit irksome to find out that there's all these things that I haven't achieved, but I have to really love the game to go back to like want to play it again, to go find like one achievement,
I
and it's
me
probably not worth
me personally, I think that's kind of like a stupid thing to do. Let the player go back into that area and know where exactly the achievement could be accomplished. Make the player go find where the achievement is. Why make it easier for the player to get the achievement? Make it harder. That's the point of playing the game. What do you think about that, Joe? I want to hear your point of this.
it. All right. For the first place, I wouldn't go back and do this, but if I was to do it, I would want it the way they have it. Because
Really?
yes, because I'm already wasting my life going back to do this. I
Your
want to
life.
speed up the process, right? Get that little, like, you're going back for like this like insignificant positive reinforcement in your life. Do it faster. Get that fix faster.
Oh my God, Joe.
Give it to me IV instead of long term. Like um, and then maybe it's something that maybe there's like some side quest that you didn't know about, and I don't want to play the whole game again just to find that side quest.
I think they
So
should punish. I think they should punish you.
for it now.
I think they need to punish you, Joe. Make you go back to the beginning. Make Joe go back to the beginning of the game. Hit five. Let's get to 500 likes and make Joe go play the game all over again. Come on, guys. 500 likes. If you disagree, dislike it.
Oh my gosh. And that's the point where you buy another game. You start over again. Yeah. I'm on. So Yeah, guys. So that wanting to go back to the beginning of the game or to do oh my gosh, to get all those achievements, I wouldn't do it unless there was a real like cool side quest. Like if the game was really involved and a lot and had like an actual like cutscene or something that was really cool.
Oh, see that'd be cool. Cutscenes.
If it's a game where it's just like you're going back and you have to like collect 10 bananas and you didn't do it in the right time, then
And bananas.
I'll be
Make
okay with the 5. I'll be okay with the 5 that I did collect.
make Joe go back to the beginning of the game. I still think we need to go back to the beginning of the game. I'm that guy. Make the player go back to the beginning. I'm still old school, guys. I'm still old school. I think this is kind of like giving privileges to the gamer.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joe.
Well, and the other feature that they were talking about is that there's this screen share where you can
That's awesome.
you can share the video. Your friend's gameplay feed can be like on yours. Like maybe it's like kind of like a little box,
Oh,
so
picture in
you can
picture.
see what they're doing while you're playing your game.
You're talking about like picture in picture.
Yeah, and I think that'd be kind of. I guess that's kind of cool if you're trying to like. I mean, especially with this global problem right now, right?
Correct.
It's a way it's a way to play through a game with somebody like that's not a it's not a co-op game, but you can play it
Yeah,
together.
that is pretty cool.
I mean, Ars Technica kind of put that down, saying like that's not their kind of thing, you know. But I can see how some games you're like you want to share the experience
Yep.
and you want to know that you're at the same spot, at the same, you know.
Correct.
And it's kind of cool to share that moment over the internet,
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
and especially if it's somebody you know, a friend, a close friend, or a family or something. Like, yeah, it seems silly. Like if you're like, oh, I don't want to like see some stranger, you know, like some random person, or from some, you know, I don't know, you know, like you can build relationships over stuff like this. So,
Correct.
you know, not knocking it. So I think I don't know. At first, I was like taking their opinion and like saying that's kind of silly, right? But now I can really see the virtue
Yeah,
to
I
that
can see
too.
it too.
There's yeah, yeah. The other person would have to be tech savvy to know how to do it.
Uh,
But I
hopefully it's
think they,
not that technical.
yeah, it's just it's a console, so they shouldn't. Just you tap the screen share on your own system.
At least it's not like the computer. Computer could if you do it on the desktop, you could actually it probably could get confusing, but who knows? I mean,
Yeah,
I haven't played PC games in freaking forever, guys. So sorry.
yeah, yeah. Don't ask me about how to stream a console to Twitch because that's kind of confusing.
Well, the new consoles, the PS3, PS4, and the Xbox One, it
Yeah.
all you do is log into Twitch on your console and you just start it and that's it. And you stream it live. You don't have to do any. You really don't have to do nothing. It's just plain and simple.
But you can't see chat.
Oh yeah, you can. I don't know how. I've never seen it. I know it's very simple because my brother does it, and my brother-in-law does it. I just don't know too much information on how the chat or any of that stuff works.
Yeah,
I don't have a PS4 and a Xbox One.
yeah. So we're not sure. You know, I think you know. I'm not sure. You ever seen the PS4 or 3? I think they did, but they have like, do they have any like YouTube or anything embedded in the platform?
I have a PS3,
'Cause I
and
know we
I think PS3 had the YouTube, but I don't think
yeah.
you could stream to Twitch. Can't. You have to use a I forgot what those things called. Capture cards.
Huh. Yeah, I think it'd be silly if they didn't at least have an app store for consoles.
Correct.
That'd be cool. To be able to do, you should have to be able to do Netflix or Twitch or
Yep.
so.
Definitely.
Let's go. That it was the. Oh, we have one more topic for the day. Can you introduce this
Well, this one's gonna be a new one. So hopefully you guys know what this is. This is like a major Windows 10 update. The Windows 10 build 2236 meet it has the meet now 10x OBE settings, UI tweaks, and plus many more. What was the video about, Joe? Because you're the one that watched the video. I didn't get to see it.
So I watched it at 2 times speed, and I wish I could watch it at 3 times speed.
Fast.
So there were some cool things, but a lot of it was dry, and like you you probably wouldn't ever notice that these changes even took place.
Interesting.
Um, but basically, so some of them are like I still see there's some problems with it, and he pointed out that too. It's basically like, if you have like dark mode on your Windows 10, it might not be dark mode everywhere. So now Windows has made it so that when you put dark mode in, it's in more areas, but there's still some things that they still need to work out. So dark mode,
Oh.
light mode, it's more dark mode than it was before, but it still needs to be more dark mode and more little things that pop up as white,
And I didn't know you could also change your refresh rate of your display.
No.
You can now.
Yeah, no. Oh my gosh. Yeah, oh, I remember. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Okay. Yeah, because I was like, you could always do that if you right click and then put display properties.
Uh-huh.
But you're right. You had to like go deep into it.
Yeah, this one's just easy. You go to settings, system, display, advanced display settings, and right under that you'll have the refresh
It
rate.
shows you, it shows you the rate. And I'm looking at mine right now. I don't see that, because I don't have the newest thing. I think this guy is part of the insider crowd. Yeah.
Correct.
So he gets stuff ahead of everybody. So
used to
yeah,
be
I
there.
mean, you have to dig deep to like change your, like either do it on your own monitor or you go into display properties.
Yeah, there's a lot more.
You got to click
lot of
on
stuff.
advanced display properties, and then you see what it's running at. I see it's like running at 60 hertz, but then you have to click on display adapter properties. Then you have to go to monitor, and then you get to choose all the options.
Damn, there's a lot of fixes on this thing. It's about a lot of Microsoft Office compatibility assistance, Office applications were crashing or missing after update, fix an issue that could result in same app update installing, fixed issue with experiencing DPC watchdog, unhandled exceptions, 0x 800 F0247. Bro, the list continues, man. I'm gonna be here reading this for the next hour if I keep reading all these things.
Oh, where did you find all that? I didn't see that.
Man, I looked up the
that title, the Windows build 20236.
Correct. Look it up, and you'll find it under the Windows Insider. It's a big list, bro. Very big list. And we fixed an issue with adjusting volumes, also muted, unmuted when app volume and device preferences was open.
And yeah, so there's a lot of features that this guy didn't go into, but I'll mention the ones that he went into again. I'll finish that up, and then you can tell me some ones that you see that are pretty cool. So one other one that usually is a problem for people is where you're looking for a certain type of file, like PDF or something.
Mm-hmm.
And Windows makes you scroll through so much stuff. Like Windows needs to be more organized and needs to definitely. You should be able to sort through things better. So now there's for the search file, there's you can do you can search by type. You can do .3 GP, you can do .pdf or whatever, right? So that helps because then all those files are together. And then you could probably sort that by date and time and stuff.
Correct.
Another feature they're playing around with letting you see your disk drives instead of having to look at it in a different way where you had to go deeper again. Now they're having that, or you had to have like the disk management, and it was kind of confusing, a very old school. And now they're showing it where it's like right there and you can figure out like how much temporary files are being used, and it even shows you like the temperature, right? Like if your drive is in with safe limits, it's as healthy, you know. So
Interesting.
and it lets you do partitioning right there in the settings. So it's a little bit yeah, there it goes. It shows temperature 38 Celsius. Estimating remaining life 100%, available spare 100%. So it's pretty cool. They're just trying to make things give you some more information and make it more available instead of having to like download third-party apps. They're building it in-house. Um let's see what else there was. Also there's something that they're bringing from I believe they're bringing from the consoles or Xbox
Really?
to I believe so to make it oh well okay fine they were more incorporating some of third party things like Skype and everything so it could be like at the bottom of your screen all the
Yeah.
time, and I'm kind of confusing that up because he was showing that you could when you set up your computer or later you can set it up to customize it for you can tell them, oh, I want to do gaming or I want to do just like workstation experience, and
Hmm.
then it'll get rid of some things in your Windows bar, you know.
Yeah.
So it'll get rid of a lot of clutter. Like it'll get rid of like the like Hulu, Xbox, Netflix, solitaire stuff. If you decide you only want like productivity,
Interesting.
and you can do like maybe you want entertainment and gaming, and it'll get rid of like the productivity. So it'll make your taskbar less cluttered and more focused on based on there's like 5 different feature sets that you can choose.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
and let's see what else. They're also letting you do some more things with your background. Like they were showing like spotlight collection.
Spotlight.
So
Spotlight.
yeah. So is there anything else that you've been looking into that list of updates that are interesting at all?
All I know, man, is fixed. They fixed an error issue with the narrator, unexpectedly saying expressive input panel. They fixed a critical issue. Remember the video I made, Joe? I'm gonna
Yeah.
bring this up to you guys. Remember the video I made about turning off Windows Sleep Mode? The
Yeah.
one of my video that's viral on YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, they fixed that issue. We fixed an issue that could result in touch keyboard getting stuck in suspend state after waking a PC from sleep, leading to it not invoking automatically when settings focus to a text field. So they've
I
managed to
wonder
fix that. Some
I
of
wonder
it.
if they I wonder if they fixed that earlier and they're just having to fix it for Windows 10.
Because they've had this issue from standby and from the keyboard not working or anything not working and turning on whenever they get into that mode. So you have to disable sleep mode and stuff like that, because you have issues to it.
And
And
I'm gonna
that's
Google this right now because I don't even know what is the Windows 10 X 00BE.
look it up. I know it's
Oh, it says Windows 10X out of the box experience.
oh yes. Oh yeah, and also too they fix an issue with your favorite feature, Joe, voice typing.
What do they do?
Settings menus drawing off screen. We fixed an issue that could result in the voice typing settings menu drawing off screen.
Nice.
And it also fixed a regression that was breaking the Nvidia CUDA GPU acceleration in the Windows subsystem for Linux.
Yeah, we had heard of some problems with Nvidia's GPU launch this time. I didn't get really into it because there's a lot of other tech news and stuff going on.
And
Uh,
there's still some issues going on
yeah, with the launch with like
with the whole with
the
this
drivers.
with this update, that there's still issues with, like, when working on issues attempting to perform a reset this PC using the keep my files option will fail with an error. There was a problem resetting your PC. No changes were made. So you'll run into error. There's numerous errors that are happening after this when they launch this update. But they're
That's
working on it.
yeah. Fix those problems, and fill the holes in the ship.
Definitely.
I'm gonna bring it up. Just we've already covered our last official article, but Renee, did you know that there was other article I wasn't gonna cover, but did you know that Google and Intel are they're upset about this one Bluetooth vulnerability?
Really?
Yeah,
What is it about?
it's let's see, it's a high severity Bluetooth security bug in Linux.
Huh?
Yeah, they said it's serious, but high severity doesn't necessarily mean high risk. Um, I don't know. I just think it's kind of interesting because anything that's more security problems for Intel when AMD is like taking the lead, right?
Yeah.
Typically, this is my layman's approach at it. Typically, when there's a security problem with the just the architecture, right?
Yeah.
Um, it usually means that Intel or AMD have to generally like sacrifice performance to
Yep.
fix this bug. And so I'm not sure if that's the case with this one. But that's what I thought with previous you know, previous security gaps. They had to like close it and it made it a little bit slower in order to be secure.
Yeah.
And Intel can't afford to lose even more. So
Nope.
I just want to throw that in there because I just, we're kind of throwing it in on there, trying to get Intel fired up, to
Yep.
to bring us some faster CPUs.
Come on, do it, do it, do it. I want to see. I want to see that.
We got to wake up the sleeping giant.
Come on, Intel. You gotta make. You gotta. I'm not sure if you're gonna hear us, Intel. Please hurry up the hell up. I want to see your next generation core.
Yeah, AMD is knocking at your door year after year after year, and now they're finally in your door.
Like, come on, the stock. Come on, the stocks. People, if you haven't bought stocks on Intel or AMD, man, right now is a good time. It's a great time to buy a stock in them. They're low right now, so if you want to make a profit, there you go. Intel's your calling. They're gonna have to do a comeback soon.
Have the stocks gone down?
I haven't checked. I know that the AMD Intel is still in the 50s, and AMD's in the 80s or something like that. I should have bought a couple. It went up like $30.
Yeah, it looks like they went up significantly, like since July.
Correct. Since
It went
that
from
new since that
57 to like 90.
dude is 90 already.
Well, it went down yeah, but Intel, yeah, Intel went from 60 in July down to 47. So it's recovering at 53 now.
So we need to buy shares, guys. Come on, you gotta go buy a share. Not telling you to do it if you don't want to. You just I would recommend it because those are the two top leading companies for processors. I don't see them going. I do not see those two giants ever going anywhere anytime soon in the next 10 years.
Yeah, Nvidia has been creeping up since for a year ago. They were at $194. Now they're up at like almost a near high at like 552. So
Woo!
I know they're just running away. They're gonna be,
Just watch, Joe.
different. Yeah,
Just watch. In the next 10 years, Nvidia's gonna come with their own CPU.
yeah,
Because
gosh,
they could do that if they wanted to.
yeah. I guess they just wanted to be the best in GPU, and I don't know what it's really expensive going into the new fab,
Mm-hmm.
but like we said though, right? Like with AMD and Nvidia, they use other people's, you know,
Correct.
they use other people's fabs and they put their architecture over it.
Correct.
And so yeah, I guess the only thing is I guess it's really hard with like copyright, you know, to
Mhm.
figure out how to make an architecture that's not. I have no idea. That would just drive me nuts with these companies. How do you like? Do they even care about copyright with these architectures?
Yeah, who knows,
Because
man?
like I don't know how you can keep reinventing this and always improving the architecture and then what
Yeah.
if you're like, I mean, think about it, like some of these architectures take like 3 or 4 years of development. You make it, and then someone else is like saying, "Well, we already made it that exact same way." It's like,
It might also be through the IEEE standards, through the computer hardware wise, to make it all standardized so they won't be suing each other for everything. So there's a requirement. It's not like patent or a lawsuit for them. It's just probably they're just saying it's like through a standard.
yeah. So it's like there is none.
There's like none, but it's only by the state of computers. Like the IEEE standards. That build computers, and they have to follow a certain procedure protocols just to keep them to make everything exactly the same all
Yeah.
the way across the board.
That's just like totally confusing to me. So
Bro. It's like think of it like NIC cards. Like there's like 20 different types of companies, maybe even more of NIC cards, but they all do the same thing. And the structures are built different. But they still have the same. Still have the same infrastructure built in with the same standards all the way across the board. Because this company cannot sue this company because they're following a standard. It's like you going to work like at Chili's or go work at an IT company and you had to follow procedures, but you could do your own method, but you still had to follow a certain strategy or a procedure that they have in place. As long as you
yeah.
follow their guidelines, but with your style over here, as long as you follow them, you'll be fine. If I'm wrong, guys, you can feel free to correct me. But this is kind of a structure that I developed when I've been working, and it's been working.
Yeah, I'd like
And
to know
I
how copyright law works with tech companies.
I would like to
Because
know
you're
that
always
too.
hearing like there's a patent for this product, right? But
Correct.
I don't know if there's enough variation. Maybe that's it. Maybe there's not enough variation between these CPUs.
I
Like
think patent
I
was
don't know.
whenever it's something that doesn't exist.
So since CPUs already exist,
There's already whenever whoever came up with the first nanometer,
CPU.
yeah, the nanometer area that's when they started setting rules right away because they can't let it go out too long. It's like when when they first started developing computers, they didn't the computers were all built differently,
Yeah.
and then they made a standard to make them all exactly the same,
Yeah.
like a standard. So everything started coming out standards. Imagine having a
It's like,
PCI.
okay, so it's like imagine if we had patent law and someone made the first hat.
Correct.
Not everybody makes hats, and you can't patent a hat.
Correct. The only it's like the guy that I met. He has a patent on hardware because he was the first person to develop it on the computer base. But the other parts that connect to it were for mobile. But he patented it for the computer directly. It was embedded onto the board, and he was the person that designed that.
And then we find that with these patents, you usually have to have a good amount of lawyers and money to defend
Correct.
them.
And then you have to sign. You have to sign it. You have to sign it into the patent area, and it's a lot of money to patent it. And I don't know how. I don't know if you have to keep paying money to have it patent, or it's only a certain number of years. And then that's not
I
all.
I personally think to patent it doesn't cost that much, but it's defending it in court.
I don't know too much about patents. I just know that
Yeah.
I thought there
Or
was.
maybe
I
I'm
know
maybe I'm maybe I'm just thinking about copyright because
copyright.
I have a family member who did a copyright on some of their poems they've done recently, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that was relatively easy. It's just enforcing that is the hard part.
Correct. That's why you have lawyers actually sitting out there and actually looking and see if anybody's breaking their copyright.
And then the copyright, you're like, I'm gonna hire a lawyer to enforce that copyright when someone else makes like 50 million off of it, and you're like, give me a cut of that.
Correct. That's pretty much it is. You're taking
Like,
50%,
it's like
75% cut.
I made it, but I didn't actually make any money off it, and now you have to give me that money.
Correct. So these lawyers are getting paid pretty penny. 50 if they made 75 million, man, you're taking home almost 50 million, but then the lawyer's taking a cut.
Yeah.
I wonder what that cut is. 30% on top of that.
I don't know. Yeah,
Because each lawyer is different. They all take different cuts. I know when I did a case for an accident, they actually took 10%.
Yeah, it says most contingency fee agreements give the lawyer a percentage of 33 and 40%. Personal injury lawyer gives 33% or 1/3 of any settlement or award. That's pretty big.
My lawyer was different.
Yeah.
For my accident case, only 10%.
Your lawyer was cheaper?
10%.
Yeah, much cheaper.
But the thing is, he managed to lower my my medical cost. I don't know what the hell he did. He managed to lower that cost, and he managed to give me more, and he gave himself 10%. I don't know what the thing he did. There's so much stuff behind the scenes. I don't know too much about that accident. You know, I just know that he took 10%.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it says on average the fee is 33%. So
he could fluctuate.
Very interesting. Well, thanks for tuning in this week to Tech Trends. We'll see you again next week. And again, at this time, we're just reminding you, you can always subscribe on YouTube, or you can support us on Anchor or wherever you listen to your podcast.
I'm kind of whispery just to kind of like subscribe, follow us,
and you can always enter our giveaway that we're doing. This month is $30 giveaway. So all you have to do is we have the Gleam link on our YouTube channels, or I have it on my Facebook page, and maybe on this video, Blazin will Renee will have it in his description. But just a little bit of member appreciation, and we wish you the well. We wish you have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, we will, and make sure you follow us,
subscribe, like,
and turn on your post notification.
Share with friends.